do you know or understand what you're looking at? Well, I got the answer, but before I share, you might want to brace yourself, because today's episode features conspiracies and paranormal activity happening around the globe that mainstream media won't tell you. I'm Steve. This is Classified Captures. If it wasn't obvious already, what you're seeing is a wax figure of a lady known as Maria Sabina. If you've ever lived in Mexico or have any connections there, you might know who she is. For the rest of us who are hearing about her for the first time, she was a shaman. She was known for her spiritual rituals involving sacred mushrooms, and it was said that she had deep thought and insight into the spiritual world. There are photographs of her that show just how intense her presence could be, and this wax figure captures that same energy. At first glance, we can see she's calmly seated with a cigarette in her mouth, but pay attention, that's not all that happens in the clip. As the man stood there filming, something happened. The wax figure's head moved, just slightly, but enough to make him notice. He froze, then jumped back in shock. Let's take a second look, and yeah, there you go, it clearly moves. Wax figures like this aren't supposed to move, they're solid, fixed in place. This is what makes the movement strange. In fact, the man got even closer to inspect it himself, and he saw nothing that could explain the movement. So, how did it happen?
Es una pieza total, rígida, no se puede manipular. Te digo, no tiene nada, te digo, mira, te muestro, no hay cables, no hay nada, no es un robot. Es una figura.
There's no straightforward answer, but there are theories. Some members of the paranormal community believe that somehow, just somehow, Maria Sabina's spirit returned for a brief moment. Why? Well, no one knows. Others think it might be the man's active imagination at work, but how does that explain what we're seeing as well? The more logical fraternity of the Paranormal Society believes we're seeing what we expect to see. In other words, we think the figure moved because we're told that it did. But you've seen the clip, so what do you think?
Okay, so I'm walking back to the house, and I see this guy standing there.
This next video was shared by a man who had a strange encounter one night while walking home alone. He was heading down a quiet street when he noticed something ahead. It looked like a man standing completely still in the distance. The figure had a crooked posture and wasn't moving at all. The whole scene felt off. So he got a little spooked, and to be safe, he pulled out his phone and started recording as he approached the figure. From across the street, it really did look like someone was just standing there waiting. But as he got closer, the truth revealed itself, and it was unexpected.
Okay, so I'm walking back to the house, and I see this guy standing there. And I'm like, why does he look so weird? So I start walking closer, and closer, and closer, and closer, and wait. That's not a guy at all. That's just a shadow.
It wasn't a person at all. It was actually an illusion formed by a nearby tree. The shadow it cast created the perfect outline of a human figure. It was so convincing from a distance that even watching the video felt unsettling. But here's where things get wild. Even after he showed it was just a shadow, some viewers believed there was something else going on. Some claimed that the shadow vanished just before he got close enough to fully reveal it. Take a second look and let us know what you see. Or think.
And I see this guy standing there. And I'm like, why does he look so weird? So I start walking closer, and closer, and closer, and closer, and wait. That's not a guy at all. That's just a shadow. And the pillar makes it look like an optical illusion.
Two friends had visited the infamous Devil's Den in Gettysburg. If you're not familiar with it, it's considered one of the most haunted battlefields in America. They took a series of casual photographs together during the visit, thinking nothing of it, and went home. When they got home and started taking a look at the pictures they took, they noticed something strange, particularly with the picture on your screen. There was something or someone else there with them, but that couldn't be. They were alone and then they took the picture. They even arranged the images in order they took them, and it only confirmed what they'd seen. There was indeed something or someone there. The figure was dressed entirely in black and appeared to be walking backwards. In each shot, the figure seemed to drift further away by facing the wrong direction. It wasn't someone passing by. The men also don't recall seeing anyone around them during the shoot, and for anyone familiar with the Devil's Den, you'll know it's no stranger to ghost stories. This site is famous for allegedly being haunted by Civil War soldiers, many whom are said to appear in photographs and then vanish just as quickly. Some believe these spirits are residual energy playing scenes from the past on a loop. Others think certain souls remain trapped there. Could this be one of the soldiers? The Vatican is easily one of the most secretive and suspicious organizations in the world, and one of the strangest theories surrounding it involves a device called the chronovisor. According to legend, the chronovisor is a time-viewing machine that lets you see into the past. Think of it like a supernatural television that can tune into history itself. It's rumored to have been developed in the 1950s by a team of scientists, one of whom was said to be Father Pellegrino Ernetti, a Benedictine monk with a deep interest in both science and theology. What's more chilling is that the device was supposedly hidden away in the Vatican, kept under strict secrecy and only used by a select few, possibly even the Pope himself. And what did they use it for? Some say it was used to witness biblical events firsthand, like the crucifixion of Jesus or the Last Supper. Others claim it was used to observe lost historical moments that could change how we understand the past forever. Of course, the Vatican denies it all, but isn't that exactly what you'd expect if they were really hiding a machine that could see through time? If the chronovisor is real, what else have they seen? And what secrets are they keeping from the rest of the world? This photograph is one of the strangest we've ever come across. It was meant to be a simple selfie of a couple smiling for the camera. But when they looked at the picture, what they saw left them completely shaking. Leaning over the man's shoulder wasn't his wife, but a grotesque-looking figure. Its face was distorted, almost inhuman, with outstretched features and hollow eyes. It looked nothing like the woman who stood beside him just seconds earlier. His wife herself was horrified. She didn't remember making any kind of strange expression and certainly didn't look like that when the picture was taken. Now, some people believe cameras have a strange ability to capture things our eyes can't see, like glitches, entities hidden in plain sight, or even the true form of something or someone. It kind of reminds you of the TV show Grimm. Nick could see hidden creatures beneath human appearances. Maybe this camera glitched for a second, or maybe it revealed something that was always there. Some think it's digital distortion, others believe it's evidence of a spirit using her body as a vessel. Whatever it is, this photograph opened a door to a terrifying possibility. What if this person beside you isn't entirely human? In the paranormal world, there are creatures that everyone talks about, like ghosts, skinwalkers, rakes, shadow people, you name it. But then there are the ones that get barely any attention, the ones that hide in the shadows of the paranormal world, who are rarely mentioned, but just as terrifying, if not more. A man who was about to explore a cave during a solo hike, and everything seemed normal at first, but as he got closer to the cave's mouth, something stepped out of the darkness, and it wasn't human. Standing just at the entrance was this tall creature, around 7 feet tall, with horns curling from its head and matted hair covering its entire body. It resembled a goat, but not like anything you'd seen on a farm. This one stood upright like a person. But the strangest thing is, it didn't charge at him. It just stood there watching him from the cave's darkness like it was too shy to step into the light. The man backed away slowly after taking his video. Some think it was a fiend goat, a lesser-known cryptid that's rarely spoken of. It's said to live in remote mountainous regions. Others say it could be some form of cave demon or even a misidentified satyr-like creature. Whatever it was, it did not want to be seen. Back in the day, there were many plantation houses scattered across the South, grand estates with dark histories. Behind their elegance were stories of unthinkable cruelty, especially for the enslaved people who were forced to live and work on those lands. And many of these old houses still stand today, but recently, one of them didn't make it. A well-known plantation house burned down, completely engulfed in flames. It was a massive fire that drew the attention of locals and onlookers. And as they recorded videos and snapped photographs, something strange began to appear in the flames. Dark figures and entities appeared. Some said they saw silhouettes moving through the fire, others saw forms peeking out of the windows and doorways with faces and bodies that couldn't possibly belong to any living person. It didn't take long for the footage and images to go viral online. Some people say that these are the souls of enslaved people who had been trapped there for centuries, bound to the trauma of their past. And now, with the house destroyed, they're finally free. While a house burning down is never a good thing, there were those who felt a strange sense of justice for it. Like the fire didn't just destroy wood and brick, it cleansed something deeper and much darker. In the celebrity world, we've heard rumors of cloning doubles and body replacements. It might sound like something ridiculous, but every now and then something happens that makes people question if this theory is really true. Recently, a strange clip surfaced online of a homeless man sitting on a bench outside somewhere in public. At first glance, nothing seemed too unusual until you take a second look. This man looked exactly like Kanye West, not a little similar. We're talking about jaw-dropping resemblance that though the rest of his appearance seemed completely disheveled. His hair was oddly shaved down the center of his head with tufts sticking out of the sides, and people immediately started asking questions. When you zoom in on the video, you notice something strange around the man's face. It's a weird blur like a distortion. This led others to believe this could be a filter, possibly an AI face overlay. But if that's the case, who would do that and why? What's the motive behind placing a deepfake filter of Kanye onto a man who otherwise appears mentally unwell and homeless? But some believe this could be an actual clone, maybe a failed clone of Kanye left out in public or a lookalike experiment to see how the public reacts. What do you think? Clone? Deepfake? Or just an oddly timed coincidence? Personally, my money's on it being a filter, but let me know your theories as well. Every now and then, a strange and extreme trend pops up, and no matter how bizarre it sounds, people jump right on it. A recent one, just to be the most unexpected yet, is called a coffee enema. Yeah, you heard that right. Instead of drinking coffee the usual way, people are now brewing it and then inserting it into their rectum through a tube. The idea behind it is to cleanse the body by flushing out toxins through the colon. Some claim it boosts energy, improves mood, and even clears the mind, but here's where it gets a little concerning. Coffee contains compounds that trigger dopamine and adrenaline release, the same feel-good chemicals we get from excitement or pleasure. When absorbed through the rectum, those chemicals hit faster and harder, causing some people to become addicted to the sensation. So now there's a growing group of people who say they can't start their day without it, not with a regular cup of coffee, but with a daily coffee enema. And as strange as it sounds, it's catching on in certain wellness circles, but at what point does a health hack become dangerous? And more importantly, who's really behind pushing trends like these? What a bunch of asses. This footage was pulled straight from a live CNN broadcast. The journalist is reporting as usual, but behind him there's a massive screen showing a building in the background. Now pay attention to the top right corner of that screen. Look closely and you'll see a faint, dark patch that seems to fall straight from the sky into the building. It's subtle and fast, but it's definitely there. What in the world was that? Some viewers say it looked like a cloaked object, maybe something falling at high speed that was partially invisible. Others believe it might have been some kind of entity, almost like a shadow slipping through dimensions. A few even suggest it could be a cloaked alien craft, but not everyone is buying into the paranormal. A skeptic online proposed a simpler explanation. They claim it might have been a raindrop on the camera lens, creating a trick of light that just happened to line up perfectly with the building on the screen. But there was no rain reported that day, so what could it be then? You tell us. Have you ever heard of the Suvarnabhumi airport in Thailand? It's not just one of the busiest airports in the country, it's also considered one of the most haunted. There's a chilling story that came from a night shift worker stationed at the airport. One night he was making his usual rounds. He noticed figures moving back and forth through one of the passenger walkways. At first he assumed they were late travelers or crew members until he realized something strange. There were no planes attached to that terminal. No incoming flights, no boarding is scheduled, and no one was supposed to be in that walkway, so who or what was walking through it? For years, locals and airport staff have whispered about the spirits said to roam Suvarnabhumi Airport. The land where the airport now sits was once a cemetery, and many believe it still holds restless souls. In this particular case, some speculate that the worker may have seen residual ghosts trapped in a loop, endlessly moving through. What's even more unsettling is that the figures can be clearly seen. So what do you think? Next up, we have a photograph that was meant to be nothing more than a sweet moment between a couple, just a man and a woman smiling for the camera, enjoying a peaceful moment together. But it's what's in the background that has everyone unnerved. Behind the man on the wall was a framed photograph. At first, nothing seemed unusual, but when you zoom in, something chilling appears in the reflection. There, just over his shoulder, is the pale, ghostly face of something or someone. Only half the face is visible, but it's unmistakably there. The skin is an unnatural shade of white, almost glowing with no emotion, just cold, empty eyes staring directly into the lens. The couple insists that no one else was in the room when the photograph was taken. They said that whatever that figure is, it was no part of the picture. They don't recognize the face, and they're certain it wasn't a reflection of anyone present. So then, what is it? Could it be a spirit attached to the photograph, or is it something tied to the house itself, watching from the walls? Lately, the weather has not been normal, and it's starting to become a serious problem for farmers. Across several regions, farmers are raising concerns. Some even believe that the weather is being manipulated intentionally, possibly by governments or larger corporations trying to disrupt local farmers and take control of the food supply. It might sound like a conspiracy to some, but what one farmer recently discovered has people questioning everything. He shared this heartbreaking video. It went out one morning only to find that his entire farm was buried under 2 feet of solid ice pellets. A hailstorm had hit the night before, and it wasn't just a light sprinkle. The hailstones had fallen relentlessly, leaving behind a 2-foot layer of hail on the ground. Was this just a cruel act of nature or something more? With more and more farmers reporting targeted weather anomalies, from sudden floods to scorching droughts in isolated zones, it's hard not to question if something bigger is happening behind the scenes. Is someone playing with the climate, trying to push out small-scale farmers and gain control over agriculture? What do you think?
This is not dirt, this is ice. Hail.
Back in 1901, the legendary inventor Nikola Tesla created a curious device called the Tesla Spirit Radio. But what he claimed to experience while using it was very strange. When Tesla first tested the device, he reported picking up distorted and otherworldly noises that didn't sound like anything from Earth. He described what seemed like the voices of two or more entities speaking in a language he couldn't recognize. The transmissions were faint, eerie, and unsettling. Tesla speculated that the sounds might not be from this planet at all. He believed he could have been receiving signals from intelligent life far out in space, perhaps even aliens trying to communicate. And this wasn't some casual theory. Tesla openly spoke of his suspicion about the beings from other planets that were attempting to reach us through frequency and vibration. The device has become a thing of legend in fringe science and paranormal circles. Some believe that Tesla may have inadvertently built a receiver for more than just electromagnetic waves. Of course, there are skeptics. They argue that the sounds were nothing more than radio frequency interference or echoes from earthly transmissions bouncing around the atmosphere. But this happened over 100 years ago before modern broadcasting was even widespread. So what was Tesla really hearing? A witness from San Antonio, Texas, recently shared some strange and intriguing footage, and it's got people talking. According to their account, it was just a regular day. They were out running errands when something unusual caught their eye in the sky. At first, it looked like a glowing speck drifting down from above, but as they got a better look, it became clear that this wasn't just a flicker of light. This was an orb glowing softly with an orange hue that looked like it was surrounded by its own little aura. It descended slowly from the sky, almost gracefully, then started moving in deliberate, calculated directions. Not fast, not erratic, just smooth, intentional movement. Now, sure, you might think it could have been a bit of drifting flame or a piece of debris carried by the wind, but the witness was quick to point out that this wasn't that small. They estimated it was about the size of a pickleball. And most importantly, it wasn't just floating aimlessly. It didn't flicker out like a fireball. It didn't fall. That's the part that really gives you pause, because if it's not some random natural occurrence, then what the hell are we looking at here? A lot of people love camping in the woods, but sometimes that peaceful trip turns into one of the most chilling encounters you could imagine. Now, we weren't there, so all we can do is speculate. But here's what happened. This man decided to visit a haunted forest alone, and instead of just exploring during the day like most people would, he actually set up a tent and planned to spend the entire night there. As night fell, he built a fire and settled in, but that's when things started to get weird. He suddenly heard crying in the distance. He looked around, flashlight in hand, but saw nothing, so he brushed it off and sat back down. But then it got worse. There were footsteps, and his tent started shaking back and forth, but yet again, no one was in sight. He tried to review the footage he recorded using thermal imaging to spot anything unusual, but here's the thing. To actually see something on thermal, you need a real thermal camera. If it's just a filter placed over regular footage, you're not picking up anything useful. So what does that mean? Did he capture something real, or is it just another well-crafted hoax?
फिलहाल मैं यहाँ बैठा हूँ और भाई फिलहाल अभी तो उतना हट कोई जाना था और यहाँ पे ऐसे कुछ आवाज फिलहाल कुछ भी नहीं आ रही.
We've always been taught that the best way to fight fire is with water. It's the most basic, time-tested solution we've used for ages. But what if I told you that we might not need water anymore? A group of engineering students from George Mason University came up with a fascinating invention, something that doesn't involve hoses, water, or foam. Instead, they built a low-frequency sound speaker that can literally put out flames. And no, it's not for blasting music at a party. This thing was designed specifically to quench fire using sound. Here's how it works. Fire needs oxygen to keep burning, that's common knowledge. What these students figured out is that if you aim low-frequency sound waves at the base of a flame, it can actually push the oxygen away, disrupting the fire's fuel source and extinguishing it without any liquid or chemicals involved. They demonstrated it, and it worked. A small flame flickered and died out under the pressure of sound alone. No water, just clean, targeting sound waves doing the job. It's a brilliant concept, and it could be a game changer. Imagine using something like this in places where water is hard to get to, or in environments where traditional fire extinguishers could cause more damage, like in electronic labs or data centers. And if scaled up, maybe one day it could help even fight forest fires in a cleaner, more efficient way. Pretty smart, right? We already know that as humans we can't perceive everything around us. There are entire layers of reality, dimensions, energies, and presences that our senses simply aren't built to detect. But somehow, animals and cameras sometimes catch them. A homeowner recently had a chilling experience that left them questioning what was really in their house. They were reviewing footage from their home security camera, and everything looked normal at first. The video shows their dog calmly walking into an empty room. But then the dog suddenly jumps, snaps into the air as if being startled or struck by something completely invisible, and then bolts off the screen in a panic. Let's watch the moment again. There's no object, person, or shadow visible in the footage that could have caused such a violent reaction. So was the dog sensing something paranormal, or was it all just an odd coincidence? Whatever it was, it terrified the dog enough to make it run without looking back. This must not have been something good. Now, what is even going on here? Someone shared this very strange piece of footage, and it's honestly got people scratching their heads. In the clip, there's nothing special at first, just a power cable plugged into a wall socket. But then you notice that the shadow of the cable has a knot in it, while the actual cable doesn't. How is that even possible? We're talking about an inanimate object here, a cable. It has no soul, no life, so why would its shadow show something that isn't there? Some viewers are convinced this is edited footage, and honestly, that's the easiest explanation. But if it's not, if this is raw, untouched footage, then what are we looking at? Could this be a glitch in the Matrix? Because think about it. Shadows are supposed to mirror reality. They don't lie, so what does it mean when the shadow is doing something the real object isn't?
Sombra, mas cadê o nó aqui?
Não, gente. Não. Como sei?
When people die, do they really disappear, or do they stick around in some other form? Here's a strange story that might make you wonder. A man working at a construction site had a very unusual encounter while at work. He was struggling to move a heavy cable reel, so another man suddenly appeared and helped him out. After the task was done, the man wanted to thank his helper, but to his surprise, the helper was gone. So he told his supervisor what happened and described the stranger, and the supervisor was shocked. He showed the man some CCTV footage of that moment, and guess what? In the video, there's no one there except him. The mysterious helper wasn't visible on camera at all. Then the supervisor revealed that the description he gave of the man who helped him matched a worker who had died in a tragic truck accident on the site some time ago. It seemed like his ghost had just come back to lend a hand. A crew out on a casual cruise off the coast of Massachusetts recently shared a video that's stirring up some serious buzz online. In the footage, just beneath the surface of the water, this massive fish is gliding through the waves, and I mean massive. Some folks jump straight to the wildest theory, saying it's a megalodon. Yeah, the prehistoric sea monster. But let's pump the brakes for that just for a second. While the creature in the video is undeniably big enough to give anyone chills, it doesn't quite fit the scale of a megalodon. Those things were huge, like bust-sized predators. This fish, yeah, it's large, no doubt, but it's not prehistoric beast levels of massive. If you take a closer look at the dorsal fin and the body shape, it looks a lot more like a tiger shark, and a pretty hefty one at that. Tiger sharks are known for their size and distinctive stripes, and this one seems to check both boxes. Still, it's an impressive sight, and it's easy to see why people got carried away, so no, it's probably not a megalodon. But it's still a reminder that the ocean's full of giants and we barely scratched the surface of what's swimming below.
Holy
Do you believe in hypnosis? Take a look at this. This man was casually walking around performing hypnosis on random people. At one point, he made a man forget his name, and the guy had absolutely no clue what it was. He was genuinely confused. Then another man came up, probably thinking it was a joke, but watch what happens next. The hypnotist makes him fall asleep almost instantly, then wakes him up and has him acting in ways that don't make sense, even making him freeze on the ground, paralyzed, unable to move or wake up. And then he made the man forget that he was ever hypnotized in the first place, and by the end the guy was baffled. You could see he was convinced. Now, as fascinating as all of this is, not everyone's convinced. Some say it's all staged, and that the people he hypnotizes are just part of the act, maybe actors. But others believe hypnosis is real, and that they've experienced it firsthand. So what do you think? Is this guy legit, or is it just a well-rehearsed performance? And hey, if you've ever been hypnotized before, drop your story in the comments. We'd love to hear it.
Prove that that's not fake to me. Sleep deep, all the way down deeper and deeper. I got you, all the way down deeper. We're doing hypnosis. He's completely fine. Watch this. Wake up, 1, 2, wide awake. Are you consenting to this? You go sleep deep, all the way down deeper and deeper and deeper. All the way down, deeper and deeper. You will not be able to get up off the ground. As I say, 1, 2, wide awake, those magnets are active. What's going on? Try to get up. Get up! Move, man, try to get up. Open your eyes, able to move. 1, 2, wide awake. Here, stand up for me.
I've seen hypnosis firsthand at a hotel with a guy that stood up on stage, grabbed hold of a bunch of strangers and made them eat onions and do all sorts of really strange things. And I know for a fact that none of them were in on the act. So, yeah, I think it's true. You remember when owning an Apple Watch became a whole trend? Everyone at the gym had one, people going on walks, tracking their steps and checking their heart rates like it was a badge of honor. Lately, there's been a dark cloud hanging over this so-called fitness tool. Turns out Apple Watches may not be as safe as reliable as we thought. There was a recall that didn't make any headlines that you'd expect. And why? Because Apple has the power to make things like this go away. Oh, you meant why was it recalled? Well, it turned out that there was a discovery that some of the materials used in the watch's construction may be cancerous. There had been a number of reports from people saying their wrists were getting red and irritated, and even developing rashes and burns where the watch sat. At first, it seemed like a simple skin sensitivity issue, but as more cases came in, it started looking much more serious. That's what led to the investigation, but that's not all. Some users began questioning just how accurate the watch really was. In one case, someone strapped the watch onto a pen holder, and guess what? The Apple Watch still detected a pulse. Is this device that we've grown to trust actually a flawed piece of tech, or worse, something that could be hurting us instead of helping? We don't know the full truth yet, but if you're wearing an Apple Watch, maybe it's time to think twice. Also, this is me reporting as I heard. Info is alleged, so don't come for me, Apple Inc. Have you seen what Martha Stewart looks like lately? Because, wow, this woman is 83 years old. Yeah, 83. And yet, if you take a look at her recent photographs, you'd be forgiven for thinking she was in her late 50s, maybe early 60s at most. Her skin is smooth and her face glows. It's as if she's discovered the fountain of youth and planted it right in her backyard. Now, on the surface, this might just sound like a joke. After all, she may have great skincare, she has the money and access to the best treatment, so sure, that's the logical explanation. But there's been a growing speculation. What if it's something else entirely? Some believe that Martha, along with other ageless celebrities, might be using something much darker. We're talking about adrenochrome. It's a word you've probably heard in conspiracy circles, the alleged substance that supposedly harvested under horrific conditions is rumored to keep the rich and powerful looking young forever. For years, there have been cryptic messages and strange jokes dropped by celebrities with odd reference to blood rituals, youth serums, and secret treatments. Most people dismiss it as internet nonsense, but what if it's not? Because when someone is 83, looks 50, and there's no known product on the market that can do this without surgery, you gotta think. A family recently shared this strange footage they captured in the sky. It just looks like a cloud, but this isn't just any cloud. It's massive, like a floating chunk of cotton glowing in a strange golden bronze hue as it hovered low in the sky. It's fluffy in appearance, but huge and far lower and denser than the typical cloud formation. The family stood there in complete shock, just filming in awe. Now, scientifically, there's a phenomenon called mammatus clouds. They're known for their bulbous pouch-like shapes that sometimes hang low after a thunderstorm. They're rare, but natural. But what people are saying is that this felt different. Those who were nearby said the entire atmosphere changed. The air got heavy like someone was watching. That's why some believe this might not have been a regular cloud at all. Some are speculating this could have been a cloaked UFO using a strange weather phenomenon to blend in. Others go one further, suggesting it might be a supernatural sign like a warning, an omen, or maybe even a harbinger of something catastrophic. But what are your thoughts? This is a giant robotic centipede. It was built by engineers at Georgia Tech. And no, it's not from a sci-fi movie. This strange-looking machine was designed to help in agriculture. It's equipped with advanced sensors that allow it to navigate around obstacles so it doesn't crash into rocks, trees, or equipment in the field. But that's not all. Thanks to its flexible, segmented body, it can crawl through swamps, muddy farmlands, and tight spaces with ease. Its movements mimic that of a real centipede, giving it incredible agility on rough terrain. Its main purpose is to remove weeds. Yep, this robotic bug was specifically built to identify and remove weeds from the ground without harming crops. This cuts down the need for harmful herbicides. It might look creepy to some, but it could very well be the future of farming. High-tech, sustainable, and just a little unsettling. This next video was one of the most chilling and mysterious ones we've come across in a while. It was captured at night somewhere remote, judging by the darkness and silence. The footage shows a group of people running through what looks like the middle of nowhere, and they're carrying something, or rather someone. Lying on the ground are two strange pale figures. They look humanoid, but not quite right. Their bodies are limp, stretched out across the dirt, and their skin is ghostly white from head to toe. One manages to hoist one of them over his shoulder, rushing off into the dark, while three others gather around the second body, struggling to lift it. Now, here's where things get weird. Some viewers believe these figures are actually humans covered in mud or clay, maybe unconscious or hurt, but others have a different theory. They think these might be skinwalkers or some kind of non-human entities based on how unnatural their bodies look. The footage has no context whatsoever. No one knows who filmed it, where it happened, or what happened after. So, what do you think is going on here? What is this man doing? He's climbing up a ladder towards a massive beehive that's attached to a huge rock, and what he does next is, well, honestly hard to believe. He reaches straight into the swarm of bees with his bare hands. The bees are everywhere, crawling all over his arms and falling around him like rain, but he doesn't flinch. He even scoops a handful of them into his mouth and tucks some inside his shirt. How the hell is this possible? You'd expect him to be covered in stings or running away in pain, but he looks completely at ease. No protective gear, no fear, just casually swimming through a sea of bees. It's based on the people and the setting. This looks like it could be somewhere in Asia, possibly rural India or Nepal, where honey hunters are known for harvesting wild honey from cliffside hives using traditional methods. These people have generations of experience and some even build up resistance to stings, but still, this level of calm around bees is just next level. Would you ever dare to try this? And can someone explain why the bees aren't stinging him? We hear a lot about shapeshifters in myths, shows, and urban legends, but have you ever seen something that made you stop and wonder if it might be real? One driver believes they caught a glimpse of something not quite human. It happened at a quiet junction. They just slowed at a stop at a small roadside halt when another car curved around the bend and came to a sudden, awkward stop a little ahead of them. At first, nothing seemed too unusual until the driver in that car turned and stared directly at them. And here's where it gets weird. The man's movements seemed jerky, like his body didn't fully fit into itself. Then as he shifted and turned again, the driver watched, noticing this. The man's ears looked elongated and hung strangely as his head moved. And as the car jolted forward slightly and then again, it almost seemed like his shape kept flickering, like something beneath the surface was struggling to hold form. It only lasted a few moments, but it was enough to leave the witness completely rattled. They swore the man didn't look normal. He didn't move like a normal person, and something about him just felt off. Some believe this could be someone in the middle of a shape-shifting, caught between two forms, human and something else, but others aren't convinced. A few skeptics say it could have just been a man wearing large dangling earrings that caught the viewer off guard. But sometimes it's not about what explanation could be, it's about what is felt in the moment. And if something deep down told you what you saw wasn't right, then maybe it wasn't. So what do you think? A woman noticed a dog barking like crazy near the shed behind her house. That in itself wasn't too strange, but the shed was supposed to be locked with a keypad lock that's not easy to tamper with, but there it was, open wide. The dog kept barking at the shed door completely on edge, and as they got closer, it suddenly jumped back, startled like something had scared it off. The woman was so shaken she didn't go closer to look. But what's even creepier is that we never found out what happened next. She didn't close the door to see what was behind, so now we're all curious. Could it have been a ghost, some kind of paranormal entity, or was it an intruder hiding out, or worse, someone messing with her on purpose?
There's like... What? Why did you just jump like that?
A subscriber sent in this bizarre and chilling video, and it's got people talking. They had been outside one night when they noticed a strange glowing craft in the sky. The object had this bright orange glow, like it was burning or pulsing with heat. It was round and flat, hovering silently. And at the back, there was something that looked almost like a flame or maybe a plasma trail. The moment you look at it, the first thought is UFO. It just hovered there for a bit, completely silent, then started to descend slowly behind some trees. So what do you think it is? A secret government craft, a drone, or could it be an actual unidentified flying object? Well, we may never know for sure, but the footage speaks for itself. And if that was just the beginning, what happened after it vanished behind the trees? The idea of aliens being real isn't as far-fetched as many people would believe. In fact, there are some who claim that the Catholic Church may have been in on the alien secret all along, and this theory dates back decades. Let's go back to the 1950s during the time of Pope Pius. There are some who claim that he might have had direct involvement with extraterrestrial visitors. This might sound wild at first, but here's where it gets interesting. Over the years, there have been classified documents leaked and others by insiders about encounters with alien beings. These files were said to have been found in the possession of the Vatican. That's right, the heart of the Catholic Church may have had knowledge of extraterrestrials and kept it locked away from the public. What adds more fuel to the fire is the fact that Pope Pius X11. By the way, can someone tell me what X11 is in Roman numerals? Because I've got no idea at all. But anyway, Pope Pius X11 had a deep interest in astronomy. During his time, the Vatican made serious investments in astronomical research. Why the sudden obsession with the stars? Could it have been because they were tracking something or someone? Some theorists believe that the Pope's interest in the cosmos wasn't just spiritual, it was connected to actual alien contact. They say that certain beings may have shared cosmic or prophetic knowledge, and that the Vatican saw this as a reason to keep them a secret from the public eye. Maybe the Church has known about them since the beginning. What do you think? By the way, can someone help me out here? Pope Pius X111. I'm really not good with Roman numerals, so could someone tell me what number is that exactly? Some things in this world are just as crazy as they look, and honestly, there's just no explanation for them. Someone walked into an abandoned Arctic facility and found something completely bizarre. The entire roof was covered in nails. Not just a few here and there, but thousands of them all sticking straight out. There was no clear reason why this could have been done. No construction purposes, no safety logic, just nails everywhere. But why? Was this some kind of forgotten ritual, a strange insulation experiment, or something darker? What do you think? We've seen a lot of strange things happen in nature, and honestly, at this point, nothing should surprise us anymore. But even so, take a look at this. These clouds were recently photographed, and they don't look natural at all. They seem almost too perfect. There is a series of bizarre, sharply edged cloud formations. It looks like someone took a giant ruler and sliced the clouds into straight geometric shapes. Another viewer captured from a plane reveals what looked like a rectangular platform, but is perfectly aligned with the sky. It's made entirely of clouds, or at least that's what we think. This doesn't feel like something nature would just casually do. Some say it's a rare atmospheric event, others think it looks man-made, maybe even a cloaked object or structure hiding in plain sight. But what do you think? Next, we visit Australia, the home of the redback spider. Oh, sorry, I just had to get that off my chest, even though this clip has nothing to do with the highly venomous redback spider. Anyway, enjoy. If you can't recognize the skeleton you are looking at, that's fine, because almost all who saw it couldn't identify it either. Some thought it was a dugong, but that just didn't make sense. Did I say everyone? No, forgive me. The scientific and logical community couldn't identify it. The paranormal community, however, think we may be dealing with the real skeleton of a mermaid or something closely related. Looking at it, I have to agree, and because I didn't want Julius shooting down my beliefs with his poorly informed logic, I didn't tell him. But guys, tell me you don't see a mermaid when you look at this. If you do, I won't bring this subject up ever again. It's always the abandoned places. On second thought, I guess they are abandoned for a reason. This was sent in by someone who looked down into an old well, curious to see what was inside. But as they stare into the darkness, they start to feel like someone or something is watching them. But here's where it gets weird. From the bottom of the well, they see a pair of eyes looking back at them, shining in the dark. What could be living down there in this empty well? At first, I thought it might be a cat, but Julius and Aaron disagreed. They think it's either humanoid or bipedal, but it's hard to imagine anyone living in such a lonely place. So, what could we be dealing with here? Perhaps I should let you guys take point on this one. A subscriber reached out for assistance in identifying a strange creature that was captured in footage that they allegedly recorded. The footage showed the creature standing in someone's compound behind a railing, appearing to be an alien or goblin-like figure. The creature stood awkwardly facing the camera, but its features were difficult to discern due to the lighting conditions, as it was late in the evening. Suddenly, another creature appeared out of nowhere behind the first one and ran across the compound out of the camera's view. This caused the first creature to flee as well. Once we got the clip and info, we decided to analyze it to see if we could determine where and when it was shot. It didn't take too long for us to discover its origins, though. A team member saw a similar clip on one of the paranormal platforms, and that's when we discovered this was not real, but a cutscene from a video game called Abe's Odd World. A hiker captured a video of a mysterious object while out on a walk. He does appear to be filming from a mountainous location with cloudy weather. Despite being cloudy, the silhouette of a large craft could be seen hovering over a mountain with some intricate structure on it. Anyone who sees this will scream, "Alien!" Unless, of course, they've seen the movie District 9. A large chunk of those who saw it called it a UFO, while others speculated it might be a military base. However, one person pointed out that the video had to be fake, as this was a scene from the movie District 9. This led to a debate among internet users, with some stating it was the real deal, while others thought it was nothing more than just a hoax. Despite this controversy surrounding the video, it remains a mystery as to what the object was. What do you think? Do you believe that the video is authentic, or do you subscribe to the idea that it's a hoax? What if I told you that the world's strongest man has got nothing on the man I'm about to introduce? Think I'm joking? Well, take a look. Yup, that's a man carrying a rock that appears to have been hewn from a mountain or something of that sort. It's not every day you get to see someone carrying one of those, since heavy machinery is typically the appropriate thing to transport them. Could this be how the pyramids were built? Well, Julius doesn't think so, and I agree with him. And no, the stars didn't align and the world is not ending. I just think he looks too comfortable to be carrying something like this. It has to be a prop. There's no way this is real. If it was, it would have reflected in his movement. Either that, or he's so strong that he doesn't need to. What do you guys think? I know you're waiting for the next clip, but my new friend Bigfoot asked me to ask you if you have liked and subscribed. If you haven't, please do so now. Thank you. Speaking of strange, take a look at this security footage. As you can see, it's night and the streets are empty. Then, from across the street, a dark entity is seen walking by, but then it stops midway and turns to look at something. Then a man in a hoodie appears, not knowing he's being watched. The hooded man goes to someone's car, opens it, and takes some stuff. While he busily searches the car, the entity starts to walk towards the thief in the car. Before he can get close, however, the man takes what he wants and proceeds to run away. And that's when things get odd, because the entity realizes it and also chases after him. This is such a strange situation. Through the whole ordeal, the man is not aware of the entity's presence. So what was that entity? Is it some sort of supernatural police? Did it catch up to the man? What did it do when it caught up with him? Late one night, a group of brave men set out to explore an abandoned building. Armed with a camera, they hoped to capture some interesting footage of their adventure. As they approached the building, they noticed something strange on top of the roof. It was a pale creature with a pair of glowing eyes. They quickly assumed that it was a rake, which is not too surprising given the dangerous cryptid is known for its stealth. Despite feeling scared and apprehensive, the men decided to cautiously approach the building after the creature vanished. They slowly made their way towards it, remaining vigilant and ready to run at a moment's notice. When they reached the building, they saw that one of the windows was open. Curiosity got the better of them, and they decided to take a quick peek inside. To their relief, there didn't seem to be anything dangerous or threatening inside the building. However, they wisely decided not to enter as they knew that it was better to be safe than sorry. But just as they were about to leave, the creature suddenly reappeared on the roof, scaring them out of their wits. What do you make of this encounter? I know you sometimes don't like me giving my opinions on this subject, but either the team leader is overly dramatic or he needs to work on his acting because, well, his reactions just don't seem natural. But hey, what do I know? Wondering what you're looking at? Well, wonder no more. Late one night, a curious explorer was taking a stroll when he noticed something strange in the sky. From a distance, he saw what appeared to be a light descending from the sky. As they got closer, he realized that there was not one, but two crafts glowing in the night sky. As the explorer looked on in awe, he noticed that the crafts were round, shaped with small round orbs beneath them. The crafts moved slowly toward the ground until they eventually disappeared behind some trees. Now, what do you think that could have been? A UFO or something else entirely? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Yes, that's an actual person trying to cross the Atlantic Ocean in inflatables. It's a human-sized hamster wheel. I'm not sure how he got the idea, but he really believes it could work. He was allegedly spotted 80 miles off the shores of Georgia, and guess where he was going? The United Kingdom. Yep, that's right. He believes this could get him there. Either we're undermining his ability to do this, or he really underestimated how much of a journey he was committing himself to. Fortunately, or unfortunately for him, authorities found him and took him off the waters. Do you guys think he could have made it? Tell us in the comments section. Yup, that's a creature standing in the dark with a pair of glowing eyes. It's definitely not human. It has extremely pale skin and the outline of its head is shaped like a skeleton. It appears to be very tall, say about 8 to 9 feet. As you try to make sense of what you are seeing, the darkness hides most of the creature's body, leaving only its spooky outline against the night sky. What do you think this could be? Kindly hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Doing so lets you stay updated and allows us to create more videos for you. Thank you for doing so. Now let's continue with the day's episode. Mothra, is that you? Well, there are two, so Mothras? For those unfamiliar with the name, it refers to a moth butterfly thing from Godzilla. And while that's just fiction, this does not appear to be. It was posted by a user online. Just in case you're wondering, yes, they are moths, and just like butterflies, moths can come in all colors and sizes. Here we see two beautiful moths perched on a tree going about their business, if you know what I mean. Just look at their vibrant colors and intricate designs. These are what we call Cecropia moths. They are one of the largest moth species in North America and are known for their striking appearance. Their wings display a mix of red, white, brown, and black, forming an almost mesmerizing pattern. Cecropia moths are not only beautiful, but also fascinating in their life cycle, from their large green caterpillars to these magnificent adult forms. Amazing, isn't it? Have you ever encountered these captivating creatures in the wild? Share your experience. Imagine coming home from work to meet this on your stairs instead of your dog trying to get you to pat him or her and wagging the tail to let you know you have been missed. The one who uploaded this strange clip stated that when he arrived home, he was greeted with this strange sight on his stairs. From his perspective, the dog looked more like a person sitting on the stairs. It was unsettling and almost uncanny, so he moved closer. When the dog allegedly noticed its presence, it transformed back into the normal dog. This bizarre visual illusion left everyone online taken aback. Many people were quick to speculate that it might be a skinwalker, a mythical creature believed to have the ability to shapeshift. So what do you think? Is this just a trick of perspective, or could there be something more supernatural at play? Share your thoughts. How do you like your hot springs? How about this hot? No? Well, me neither. I've watched this video over and over and over and over, and I must say, I have no idea what's going on here. The last time I checked, clean water doesn't burst into flames no matter how hot it gets. So what could be wrong with this water? Well, we don't know. Some believe it's very contaminated and toxic. Some think it's laced with methane. Others think it might be a filter. We can't say for sure which it is, but if this dude really bathed in these toxic waters, then it's safe to say he needs a checkup, and not with a medical doctor, but with a shrink. Do you like light shows? If you do, get ready to be amazed by nature's light show. What you're seeing is an incredible glow of bioluminescent water, an absolutely mesmerizing phenomenon. Bioluminescent plankton, or algae as they're called, are the ones behind this magical glow. Anytime night falls and darkness descends upon the coastal waters, this remarkable transformation takes place. These tiny organisms are endowed with the extraordinary ability to produce light through chemical reactions within their cells and cast a radiant glow upon the surface of the sea. With each gentle movement of the water, the bioluminescent organisms shimmer and sparkle, creating a mesmerizing display that captivates all who behold it. Beautiful, isn't it? I bet you thought that was a mouse, right? I mean, that would have been my first guess, but for its unusual movements and, well, its very unusual face. Typically, creatures its size have two eyes, but this guy seems to have one huge one. What's more, its hands or paws, wait, can we call it that? Well, never mind. Back to what I was saying, its paws are cat-like, if I'm right. These features combined give you a very strange creature. Think of it as a cat-human-rat hybrid. That's the best I can come up with. What do you guys think? Is this thing really real, or is someone out there just messing with us? While taking a walk along the road during sundown, someone came across a glowing orb floating just a little above the ground. It hovered there for a while before slowly starting to fly away. Glowing orbs like this have been spotted all over the world, yet their true nature remains a mystery. Some people believe these orbs are related to alien activity, suggesting they might be probes or even manifestations of extraterrestrial presence. Others think they're natural light phenomena, such as ball lighting or swamp gas, which can produce similar visual effects under certain conditions. Skeptics, on the other hand, argue that many of these sightings are hoaxes created through clever use of technology or optical illusions. You can see the clip, and if you've been on this channel since day 0, you have seen us feature a lot of clips involving them as well. What do you personally think of them? Do you believe there might be smaller men out there? And no, I don't mean dwarfs. If you don't, then this footage is for you. Did you see it? Yes, a small man peered from behind the tree and then disappeared when it felt like it was being watched. Little people have been a part of many folklore and traditions. Looking at this clip, I'm tempted to believe they're real. There's no way you're telling me this clip is edited or manipulated, or is it? Guys, tell me what you think. Personally, though, I think this is real, and I can't wait to check out the location. And of course, I'm not sharing the location with you guys until I've confirmed and seen them with my eyes. Wish me luck. Have you ever had a stalker in your life? No? Take a look at this one. The footage starts with this innocent-looking woman walking into a building. Well, according to her, she went in through her garage, but stay focused. The garage isn't our primary objective here. A few seconds after she's entered, something steps out of the shadows and we can barely see its dark limbs. It's almost as though it was contemplating whether to go in or not. But stepping away from the creature's intentions, we have to wonder what exactly is that creature. What did it want and why was it stalking the woman? Given the fact that this was posted online without any mention of an accident, we can only hope the woman is fine. But seriously, what is that? What do you see when you look at this? While not much information is available to us about the clip, it shows a fish with a human face on its head looking directly at the camera. The footage has left viewers wondering whether this is another case of CGI or a genuinely unique fish in the water. There have been several instances of fish with human-like faces that have gone viral on social media platforms. However, after investigating, it's discovered that some of these fishes are CGI generated, while others are actual unique creatures that dwell in the deepest parts of the ocean. It's fascinating to think about the wonders of the ocean and the vast array of creatures that exist beneath the surface. When we look at this, though, we're not exactly sure what we're dealing with. What do you think could be going on here? Tell us in the comments section. At a festival, a man was seen engaging in a physical altercation, throwing punches recklessly in the air. Most people who witnessed the event immediately assumed that he was under the influence of drugs, as his behavior seemed erratic and aggressive. There were some who thought that there had to be more to his behavior. Some even suggested that there was some inexplicable force pushing him down. They argued that the force was very real and that there had to be something more sinister at play than just drug use. The circumstances surrounding the man's behavior are still unclear, and it's uncertain whether he was indeed under the influence of drugs or if there was an external factor causing his strange behavior. But what do you think? So, someone sent us this video he had seen somewhere else, asking if this was normal. He stated that he'd never lived in a place with snow and found it odd that snow could be rolled like this. He thought snow was supposed to be powdery and felt the government might be messing with our weather. While I don't deny my suspicions of the government messing with our weather, I don't think this is it. I did some digging around and confirmed what I already knew. This is actually possible as long as the snow is wet and sticky and not dry. As long as these conditions are met, you should be able to roll your snow. Unless, perhaps the government paid me to feed you this conspiracy. If you can believe that. It's been a while since we had an orb clip, so do enjoy this one. Right off the bat, I must say that this could qualify for the top 10 oddest and top 5 weirdest orb clips we've ever had. Not only is this present in a city, but it actually has a way of exploding or expanding, even if for a little bit, then shrinking again. It does this a couple of times and then disappears in the distance. The one who posted it said, aside from the red hue, nothing else happened in the area, and not many even noticed it, unless they were outside, since it occurred at sleeping hours. Those who saw the clip think we may actually be looking at something from the depths of CERN, but since we don't have proof, we can't pursue that theory. What do you guys think? Recently, footage has emerged of a strange glowing object in the sky that kept changing shape. The object has left many people in awe and wonder, trying to determine what it might actually be. Do you see it? See how it transformed within a few seconds? Some have suggested that it could be a genuine UFO craft piloted by extraterrestrial visitors from beyond the stars. Others have speculated that it might be an actual entity of some kind existing beyond our comprehension. However, some believe that it's all just a clever hoax designed to deceive people. Looking at the clip, I can understand why many would think it's a hoax, but well, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. What do you think is going on here? Take a look at this footage that was mailed to us. It was captured by a doorbell camera and showed a mysterious object moving across the doorway. At first, it appeared to be some kind of shadow, but as it moved, it began to emit a bright glow which caught my attention. As you continue to watch the footage, you'll notice that the object seems to be moving slowly and deliberately, almost as if it were crawling along a surface. After closer inspection, I realized that it was a snail that had somehow made its way onto the camera lens and was slowly making its way across it. Either that or there's a giant snail out there and these people are not safe. Before you criticize me in the comments section, I'm joking, please. Or am I? Anyway, what do you think about the whole thing? Still on Merfolk, take a look at this. This looks human and yet looks fishy at the same time. Do you know what else has fishy and human attributes? That's right, mermaids. I want to believe this is real. I really want to, but my brain can't get past the fact that the upper body is covered why is it covered? How would we know this isn't some doll you're trying to mislead us with? Because I have my doubts, I shared this with Julius, and as expected, he doesn't think it's real. But perhaps we're the ones being unreasonable. Do you guys think this footage is real? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Still on homeowners and property owners, the owner of this footage noticed someone was breaking into his property and set up a trail cam. From the clip, we can clearly tell it's no animal, it's human. Some who saw it thought it was weird to see a human's light reflect light, but if you have the right infrared cam, it's not so weird. Now, the main question on everyone's mind is this just an ordinary human breaking into his property for her own dubious reasons, or could we really be dealing with a supernatural being taking on the form of a human? Well, everyone who's seen the clip has joked it's his mother-in-law, but what do you guys think? Quick question. If an alligator was hot near your heels and there was a fence in front of you, would you climb it to escape? After all, alligators can't climb, right? Well, that's what I used to think until I saw this clip. Yup, that's an alligator captured on camera climbing over a metal barrier. Although it took some time and effort, the alligator eventually made its way over the fence and plopped onto the ground on the other side, continuing its journey toward the nearby water. Before you come into the comments section and scream paid actor, please note that this actor was not paid for this gig. Alligators can be dangerous creatures even though they might look adorable from a distance. This remarkable display of agility reminds us that alligators are not to be underestimated. They can overcome obstacles we might not expect them to. Next time you see one, keep your distance. Who knows what more tricks they've got under their sleeves. There are many unusual jobs in the world, and you might be surprised at how dangerous and deadly some of them can be. Yet, people still risk their lives daily to perform these tasks. One such job is jellyfish harvesting. This occupation is primarily seen in Asia, where jellyfish are considered a delicacy. The process of harvesting jellyfish, however, is incredibly risky. Take a look at this man standing precariously on a small wooden ladder placed across a boat's edge. With a rake in hand, he scoops jellyfish from the ocean and places them into the boat, which is often filled to the brim with these stinging creatures. Should the man fall into the boat or the ocean, he risks severe jellyfish stings, which can be extremely painful and potentially life-threatening. Despite the dangers, these harvesters continue their work. While this may be dangerous, I have a hard time deciding if it's more dangerous than being a volcanologist. And yes, that's a real thing too. It has to do with scientists who venture near erupting volcanoes to conduct research and carry out various tests. The inherent dangers of being close to an active volcano range from lava flows to toxic gases are significant. Imagine missing your step and coming into contact with extremely hot lava that's actually capable of melting your flesh on contact. Scary, huh? Nevertheless, volcanologists brave these risks to study and understand volcanic activity. Looking at these two jobs, which would you prefer? Someone sent this stating he was a goat man, but once I saw the inscription, it hurt my heart because this person, you see, is every bit as human as you and I, only with a medical and birth defect. If you ever see someone like this, just know that they're actually suffering from microencephaly. For those unfamiliar with the term, microencephaly is a condition that affects the brain, particularly during fetal development. The term microencephaly literally means small brain. In individuals with microencephaly, the brain doesn't develop properly, resulting in a smaller than usual brain size. This condition can lead to various developmental issues and intellectual disabilities. Hopefully, this explains his behavior. Microencephaly can occur due to various factors, including genetic abnormalities, exposure to harmful substances during pregnancy, infections such as the Zika virus, or lack of proper nutrition during pregnancy. So guys, I know we love the supernatural and all related things, but sometimes it's just someone going through some birth defects. So be kind, okay? At least until we can prove that whatever you're thinking is the case. Have you ever had an unexpected and invited visitor at your home? Did they look something like this? Well, you thought that was an ominous being, didn't you? Well, for the first few seconds, that's what I thought, until the light hit. While this might have been a game if you live in America, especially in states where individuals are mandated to have a gun, I'm not sure you should be trying something like this. The funny thing is, individuals in the comments sections thought so too. Take a look at this. For the first time in a long time, I agree. You don't want to get pew-pewed while playing a prank. It can be painful and, well, deadly. Reports of UFO sightings frequently involve objects seen in the sky that leave people feeling uneasy and curious. However, now and then, someone might catch a glimpse of a UFO on land. One such case involves a driver who had an unusual encounter while making their way home. While driving on a highway, he came across a large truck that was transporting what appeared to be a UFO. Although it's unclear whether this object was an actual alien spacecraft, it did bear a remarkable resemblance to the classic description of a flying saucer. The mysterious sighting raises several questions. Is it possible that someone is transporting an authentic UFO, or is there a more mundane explanation for the sighting? Could it be a top-secret military experiment or a clever marketing stunt? Share your thoughts in the comments section. While walking through the woods, someone allegedly came across this. It was a floating tank of some sort, but unlike the regular war tank, this one was smaller and flatter. But why is this thing floating? A commenter stated this. Some call it UFO, others call it drone. Indeed, both explanations offer intriguing possibilities. The thought of extraterrestrial visitors maneuvering among the trees ignites the imagination, conjuring images of otherworldly beings exploring our planet. At the same time, the idea of cutting-edge drone technology pushing the limits of what's achievable is equally captivating, highlighting the advancements humans have made in aerial innovation. So could it be UFO tech or a human-made drone? A part of me thinks neither. A part of me thinks it may be a prop that was set up for this clip in an attempt to gain 5 minutes of fame. But what do I know? Now, when this started to play, I must say I thought I was seeing a large crab or some form of crustacean creature stretching its legs. I watched it over and over and over, and each time, it made my skin crawl. Being the researcher I am, thanks to the influence of Julius, I did some digging around and found out later that there was nothing ominous about this. In fact, it's just a plant feeder that slowly dissolves in the water, allowing for planned and timed feeds. Neat contraption, right? Well, that's only if you know what it is. If you don't, you may end up posting it online thinking you've captured something otherworldly. Thankfully, I'm not like that, thanks to Julius. It pained me to say that last part, but it is what it is. The one thing that came to mind when I first saw this footage was a nearly headless Nick in the Harry Potter franchise. This man, however, appears to not have a head at all. How is this possible? Well, it's not. At least, it's not supposed to be. So what are we dealing with here? Well, either this is something supernatural or it's pretty cool and a neat trick. Personally, I don't think it's real, but one of the comments on the original post caught my attention. Yeah, she believes it might belong to a race of beings that are just like humans, but only headless. What do you guys think? Still on the subject of aliens, there's been a lot of footage of suspected UFOs circulating online. Some have been proven to be genuine, while others are more likely to be convincing fabrications. Recently, someone shared a video that has caught significant attention. Although the exact location is unknown, the footage shows the ocean with a nearby island. Out of this island emerges a fleet of disc-shaped crafts, a scene that looks straight out of a sci-fi movie. The crafts ascend into the sky and fly off at a mesmerizing and mysterious spectacle. However, the lack of context around the footage has left many viewers skeptical. While some are captivated and inclined to believe this could be real evidence of extraterrestrial activity, a significant portion of the audience is less convinced. The video's quality and the seemingly perfect execution of the craft's movements have led many to suspect it might be a cleverly edited piece of work. That said, it's important to recognize that skepticism towards this particular footage doesn't necessarily debunk the possibility of actual UFOs. Unfortunately, in a digital age where anyone can create realistic visual effects, it can be challenging to differentiate between genuine sightings and those crafted for attention. What do you think? Could this footage be a glimpse of extraterrestrial activity, or is it another example of impressive video editing? Kids have always been described as having an active imagination, and given the kinds of things they say sometimes, I don't dispute it. But what if sometimes the things they say have nothing to do with imagination? What if they can see things we can't?
¿Quién le estás dando? ¿Eh? ¿Qué hay ahí? ¿Quién está? No sé quién está, amor. No estoy viendo a nadie, hija.
A mother found herself in the same situation when her toddler started to point at a wall. It seems she was saying that there was something or someone there, but the mother could not see anything, and neither can we in the video. This goes on for a while, and the child looks upset by whatever is there. At the end of the video, the child holds her chest and lets out this small cry, almost as if this invisible thing has done something to her.
Chao, decile. ¿Se fue? Ok. ¿Qué? Ay, Dios mío. Me voy a descomponer. ¿Qué pasó, amor?
The mother, after seeing this, was concerned, leading to the upload. A commenter shared that children who were not baptized see things, as her cousin saw her dead grandmother. But we do not know if this child was baptized or if the child is even Catholic, because not all religions baptize children. What do you think of the whole thing, though?
Look at that.
This man was out looking at the night sky when he noticed something odd with what he thought to be a star. Among all the stars in the sky, one shines brighter and hovers about rather quickly. If you know anything about stars, you know that that's not how they behave. As the video continues, this bright thing moves back and forth across the sky. It settles and finally disappears. It's unlike anything they've ever seen before.
I don't even know what to think about this.
Many who saw it don't think it's a star at all. They think we may be dealing with a spaceship. Personally, I prefer that to the other theories, such as it being a drone. But what about you guys? What comes to mind?
I've been looking out for it for a while.
Do you believe in voodoo? No? Well, how do you explain this? Yes, that's an inanimate object levitating solely on the charms of those men jumping and dancing around it. I don't know whether they're praising or worshipping, but whatever it is, it's definitely got some power to it. It's like Harry Potter without wands. Blimey. While I do think there's some authenticity to these African religions, and this is definitely real, Julius thinks it might just be a hoax meant to draw unsuspecting individuals in. I don't think so, though, especially because he can't explain how it's a hoax, despite his big brains. What do you guys think, though? Real or fake? A girl named Valeria shared an eerie video online.
There's someone outside my room. Wait.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
She was alone at home, and while she was in a room with the door slightly ajar, she heard a female voice calling out to her saying, "Hey." What made it even more unsettling was that the voice sounded exactly like hers. Panicked, she quickly shut the door and the video ended abruptly. As soon as people saw the footage, many were convinced that Valeria was being haunted by a creature known as a mimic. These creatures, as the name suggests, are believed to lure their victims by calling out to them using their voices, creating a terrifyingly familiar sound to entice them. However, not everyone is convinced. Skeptics argue that the voice could have been a trick of acoustics or perhaps even a neighbor's voice carried through the walls. Others suggest that the footage might be staged, possibly with Valeria using a recording of her voice to create the eerie effect. What do you think?
Hey.
Next, we have a haunting and chilling story that has surfaced from a hospital in the Philippines. A man, completely alone in his hospital room, filmed his surroundings to show that no one else was there. But when he aimed the camera under his bed, he saw a pair of legs on the other side. Terrified, he immediately stood up to check but found no one there. This eerie footage was submitted to a radio station, sparking widespread speculation. Many believed the legs belonged to a ghost, the spirit of someone who couldn't pay their medical bills. The theory is that even after death, the ghost remains trapped in the hospital because of their unpaid debt. What do you think? Could this be a real haunting, or is there a logical explanation behind the mysterious legs? If you've ever doubted ghosts exist, perhaps this clip is for you. Can you see it? There's a small, translucent girl walking around the room. I'm not exactly sure what the spirit is doing, but it doesn't appear to be hurting anyone. One thing's been on my mind, though. Why would a spirit be roaming in such a place? What do you guys think is going on there? Kindly share your thoughts. Have you ever been to a place and suddenly saw something that was never there a few minutes or hours earlier? What if that thing looked like this? Yeah, the man recording this footage found this strange-looking thing in the middle of nowhere, and the funny thing is, he had been there some hours before and didn't see it. So where did this come from? The fact is, no one knows, but the monolith, which is the name they're giving to this strange figure, has been seen in many other places. It always appears suddenly without a trace of how it got there. Many think the aliens are responsible, but, well, I don't think so. Frankly, I get why they think that, but Julius thinks humans might have something to do with it. Have you heard about these monoliths? Do you have a theory on their existence? Please share in the comments section. I recently stumbled upon this video that has left me questioning my own eyes. The clip shows a tree moving on a street in a residential area, and the last time I checked, trees don't exactly have legs or wings to enable them to move around. Some are suggesting that it could be a drone. However, I'm not entirely convinced by this explanation, and I'm left wondering if the video has been edited or manipulated in some way. The video appears to have been taken on a calm day with no strong winds or weather conditions that might explain the tree's movement. Additionally, the tree itself is quite large, suggesting it would take a significant amount of force to move it. While it is possible that a drone could have caused this movement, I find it difficult to believe that a small device could generate enough force to move a tree of this size. Also, the movement of the tree seems slightly unnatural, almost as if it has been animated, meaning this could be some good editing. But what do you think? CGI, drone, or perhaps the supernatural? Cows are domesticated farm animals that are known for their large size and weight. They're generally not considered to be good climbers, as they are not adapted to climbing trees or navigating rough terrain. However, in a surprising turn of events, footage has come to light of a cow that was caught between a tree branch. Naturally, all who saw it had questions. How did the cow end up in this precarious situation? One commenter gave a possible explanation, and that is that the incident occurred during a flood in Thailand. However, when you look at the surroundings, there's no visible evidence of water, making it unclear what happened. It's unclear how long the cow was stuck in the tree or how it was eventually rescued. But what do you think? Did this cow really try to jump over the moon and get stuck, or could there be a more logical explanation? So this next one was sent in by a man who heard a lot of commotion in his backyard and went to investigate. Take a look.
I hope not, because it's almost falling apart. It wouldn't be very safe, but I'm gonna come out here and have a look around, see if any of the neighborhood kids are messing around or anything. Let me get quiet here for a second.
You saw it too, didn't you? There was a hidden figure on his roof. It appeared to be dark and humanoid. In fact, it was almost human if not for its dark skin et al. Many who saw this thought it might be a Bigfoot, but I disagree. I don't think it's large enough, even for a juvenile Bigfoot. If it was, I don't think the frame could have held it. Also, I haven't known Bigfoots to be that acrobatic, but, well, maybe that's just me. What do you guys think we could be dealing with here? This footage was taken back in 2012 by some fishermen who were on a commercial boat. They were headed out on a regular fishing trip, hoping to catch a lot of fish, but instead of the usual catch, they found something incredible. As they pull up their net, they discover a huge creature tangled inside, trying to break free. And to make things even more surprising, a human-like arm sticks out from the mass with webbed fingers. Now, I don't know of any edible fish with hands, which has me wondering what exactly the fisherman caught. Could it be one of the legendary mermaids or a siren species, or are we dealing with something entirely new? An individual managed to capture a striking image of this massive, thick, glowing white ring in the sky. While some natural phenomena, such as weather patterns or atmospheric disturbances, can potentially create such spectacles, it's difficult to ignore the possibility of a portal situation. The ring appeared to be stationary in the sky without any visible motion or changes in shape. The edges of the ring were well defined and seemed to emit a bright white light. The center of the ring was slightly darker but still emitted a faint glow. This phenomena has left many people wondering about its origin and purpose. About a quarter of the team at Classified Captures think this might be some natural phenomenon. Another quarter think this might be a portal and remain sitting on the fence or thinking it's a hoax. What about you? What do you think? Looks like it's raining fish. Literally. I mean, if this was a thing, there'd be no need for fishing. Just to make sure we're seeing the real thing, the man filming walks over and picks up a wiggling fish on the road. This is quite a sight to see. But how is this even possible? Well, some suggested a portal may be involved, whisking the fish from one realm to another. It's a captivating idea given the unusual nature of the event. But then there are the skeptics, quick to dismiss the spectacle as nothing more than a hoax concocted with CGI or AI, and yet others propose a more grounded explanation, that this is simply an instance of animal fall or fish rain caused by a waterspout. And indeed, that seems to be the most logical and potentially likely explanation. After doing some research, I discovered that when a waterspout forms, it can sweep up fish from bodies of water and deposit them elsewhere when it dissipates, creating the illusion of a fish rain. So, while the idea of portals and otherworldly phenomena may be tantalizing, sometimes the truth is a bit more down to earth. This image dates back to the 18th century and was found in an old home. It's a tiny human-like skeleton lying on its side with delicate wings on its back. On seeing this, the only thing that comes to mind is fairies. You know, those magical creatures we all loved as kids and believed to be purely imaginary. But what if they weren't just figments of our imagination? What if the stories we heard involving them were actually real, or at least based on real beings and real situations? If you're skeptical, take a look at these skeletal remains. The bones are small, but the structure is undeniably human-like, and the wings. There are no creatures in nature that will fit into this body. It's got to be something more, something different, something ancient. It's almost as though the tales of fairies, which we thought were just whimsical stories, might have been real accounts passed down through generations. But then again, perhaps my excitement is blinding me to the truth. What do you guys think? Take a look at this dog. Something is definitely off. Just watch its movements. There's an eerie, unnatural sway as it growls, baring its teeth in a menacing way. It's not just the aggressive posture, but the almost otherworldly way it moves that has people talking. Some believe this dog might actually be a skinwalker. According to Native American folklore, a skinwalker is a shape-shifting creature often depicted as a malevolent witch capable of transforming into an animal or taking on its characteristics. The unsettling movements and behavior of this dog have fueled these suspicions, with many pointing to the folklore as a possible explanation. But what if it's something else entirely? Could it be a medical condition affecting the dog's nervous system, causing these strange movements and aggressive behavior? Neurological disorders or even rabies could potentially explain such systems, though they would still be deeply concerning for the dog's health and safety. The Statue of Liberty has been under scrutiny for a lot of things. Some even theorize that there was a secret facility in there, or that it was a place where people were mass murdered, and so much more. These theories are nothing new and have been there for a long time. The man who allegedly built the statue said that the US authorities requested that the pedestal on which the statue stood be made very large, but for what reasons he didn't know. After the statue was built, it was said that people who lived by it, which was mostly immigrants, complained of a foul smell coming from the area where the statue was situated. A woman who was interviewed said that it smelled like rotten flesh in a slaughterhouse. She said at night she would see people being lined up and led to the statue by officials.
Ellie Island era orribile. L'intero posto puzzava di carne.
come un mattatoio. C'erano anche uccelli morti ovunque e mia sorella ne trovò persino uno nel gabinetto. Se già la costa è così, diceva mio padre, immaginate quanto puzzeranno le città. Ricordo di aver sentito altre famiglie dire quasi scherzosamente che volessero tornare a Milano per via dell'odore. La mia famiglia aveva spruzzato profumo e acceso candele per tenere lontano il fetore, ma funzionava solo per un'ora o giù di lì, finché l'aria diventava di nuovo insopportabile. Le serate erano così calde, rimasi per lo più sveglia, anche se il resto della mia famiglia dormiva profondamente. Ricordo che guardavo fuori dalla finestra ogni notte e vedevo file di persone che venivano condotte alla Statua della Libertà dai funzionari. Se solo fossero saliti sul piedistallo, i funzionari se ne sarebbero andati e non sarebbe successo nient'altro. La mattina seguente però ci sarebbe stato un odore peggiore, come un mattatoio.
Naturally, people started believing things, including the fact that there was some sort of creature in there that was being fed humans. This led to the infamous emergence of the 1889 Liberty Lurker interviews, but later it was all written off as a fake. Now scratch everything I've just said and take a look at this comment. Yes, this scenario I just described is supposed to be a hypothetical and not so real story, or is it? What are your thoughts on it? A subscriber sent in this rather intriguing footage. In the video, a machine is seen pulling something out of what appears to be a sewer or a tank filled with murky substances. The details are scant, but according to the sender, they pulled out a monster, specifically a demon. Upon closer inspection, it seems more likely that the figure being pulled out is a person covered in a thick, unidentifiable substance. The footage doesn't provide enough clarity to definitely say whether it's a monster or a person, but the latter seems more plausible given the context. What do you think, though? A deep-sea camera captured this creature in the ocean depths, which has left many baffled. This bizarre creature was a fish with the head of a boar with horns on its head. The original poster dubbed it the sea boar. This unusual sighting has piqued the curiosity of many, including myself and my team. Intrigued by the footage, we conducted extensive research, scouring scientific databases, marine biology records, and even folklore archives for any mention of such a creature. However, we found no documented evidence or references to a creature resembling this so-called sea boar. This discovery raises several intriguing possibilities. Could it be a new species that has eluded scientific classification until now? The ocean's depths are still largely unexplored, and new species are discovered regularly. This creature could be an example of deep-sea gigantism or an unknown evolutionary adaptation. Either that or it's just AI. What do you think we're looking at? If I told you I knew with certainty what this is, I'd be lying, and Julius isn't here to help, but thankfully we can still use our powers of deduction to come to an educated guess. As you can see, the individual in the clip uncovered this ancient artifact and brought out some parchments from within it. They aren't written in English, so we can't really tell what it says. For some weird reason, though, the individual burns it and goes on to keep exploring the items in this artifact. He brings out another artifact, which he cleans up and puts on as a ring. It's hard to say if it's some form of ancient ring or if he's just making wrong assumptions. Either way, the clip ends shortly after he puts it on. Naturally, this has us asking questions. Where did he go? What's the history behind those items? And why did he burn the parchment? If anyone can answer any of them from the clip alone, then please help us out in the comments section. Take a look at this fascinating water phenomenon, and yes, those are ice spheres floating on the water.
Oh, icy right here?
At first glance, these ice balls might seem like they were crafted and placed there intentionally, but they are in fact naturally formed. These ice spheres are created by the movement of water currents. As the water moves, it shapes the ice into smooth round balls. This mesmerizing natural process showcases the incredible and often unexpected ways in which nature operates. Isn't it amazing how nature can create such perfectly shaped ice spheres without any human intervention? Have you seen these or touched them before? Care to share your experience?
Icy right here?
Stepping away from nature, let's move on to something man-made, a lifelike robot that doubles as a waitress at a hotspot restaurant in China. If not for her robotic movements, it would be hard to tell if this is a human or a machine. At this point, I don't know if I should feel excited about this technological marvel or freaked out by how realistic it is. Just watch her. She serves food gracefully for a machine and even picks up a paper and pen for someone. It's both fascinating and a little eerie to see how far robotics have come. What are your thoughts on this invention? Is it a step forward in technological innovation, or does it bring up concerns about the future of human interaction and employment? Let us know what you think. This footage was taken by a man who had noticed something moving in his house. He had security cameras installed and would occasionally check the live feed on his phone while he was away to ensure everything was okay. During one of these routine checks, he noticed something strange. There on the live feed was a ghostly orb, a white smoke-like entity floating around the room. It moved slowly and almost deliberately, weaving in and out of the furniture as if it were exploring the space. Intrigued and a bit unsettled, he hurried home, and right before he entered the house, watching the feed again, the entity was still there, floating eerily. But as soon as he entered the house, it vanished without a trace, no sign of it anywhere. He checked every room, corner, and crevice, but there was nothing unusual. The entity was gone, leaving him with only the haunting footage and a sense of unease. This is so weird. The entity just vanished. Was it a ghost, a spirit, or something else entirely? What do you think happened? Back in January of this year, 2024, a Trailcam owner set up a camera in the woodlands of Alberta. They were responding to reports of wolves in the area and hoped to catch a glimpse of them. What they captured, however, is something you have to see to believe. In the Trailcam capture, you can see a path flanked by thick bushes on both sides. Now pay close attention to the left side of the screen. About 3 feet from the camera, a buck's head briefly emerges from behind the brush before quickly retreating. But that's not the most intriguing part. On the opposite side, something truly extraordinary happens. Emerging from the brush, you can see a bipedal creature that stands about 7 to 8 feet tall. It moves stealthily, blending in with its surroundings. It's easy to miss, camouflaged so well among the trees and leaves. But if you look closely, it's clear that this is no ordinary human. The bulging muscles and massive legs are enough to confirm this being is built differently. The Trailcam owner is even convinced that what we are seeing is the big guy himself, Bigfoot. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that assessment given its sheer size and the way it moves. But then again, maybe these are just the words of a longtime Bigfoot enthusiast. So for objectivity's sake, what do you guys think is going on here? What do you think these creatures in the sky could be? No, well, go ahead and guess. Done? Did you by any chance guess mosquitoes? Yes, they are, in fact, mosquitoes. Residents of Kamchatka, Russia, were in for a surprise when they were forced to evacuate the streets and stay inside their homes with all the doors and windows locked due to a mosquito infestation that, much like a storm, had taken over the entire area. The sheer number of mosquitoes was astounding, making it impossible to even step out of the house without being covered in them. The swarm was so thick that it was hard to see anything beyond it, creating a hazy atmosphere that made it difficult to breathe. The last one was a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the idea. While dealing with a few mosquitoes is easy with a swat or a clap of your hand, this swarm was far beyond anyone's control. The residents had to stay indoors and wait for the situation to be resolved before they could venture out again. The authorities worked tirelessly to eliminate the swarm, but it took several days of fumigation and spraying before the area was safe again. I don't know, but it makes me want to add the location to the list of places I would want to visit. So what say you? Would you try this weird Oreo cookie? The cream in the Oreo looks to be pulsating or moving. Could this be a real-life Oreo creation or perhaps just a clever trick of CGI? It's tough to say for certain without more information. As for me, well, I'm all for trying new things, but I think I might pass on this particular cookie. The pulsating cream gives me a bit of pause, you see. But hey, for those brave souls willing to take the plunge, who knows? It might just be a deliciously bizarre treat after all. Now that I think about it, who knows? I might actually try it. I don't think I can say this enough, but humans can be very weird, scary, and dangerous. This video was taken by a man back in 2011. One night, he woke up and noticed something incredibly strange. There was a man standing by his house staring right at his bedroom window. The man was wearing a black hoodie with the hood pulled over his head, obscuring his face. He stood there for more than an hour just staring at the bedroom window, completely aloof. Naturally, the scared homeowner called the police, but unfortunately, they didn't show up. You'd think that once morning came, this eerie encounter would be over, right? Well, no. This strange man kept coming back, and it went on for months. The homeowner and his partner were too frightened to confront the mysterious figure, so they left the place. Now, we don't know what's happened after they left the house or if the man ever stopped coming. What would you have done in their position? Also, why do you think he was just standing there night after night, just staring at their window? Am I not the only one who sees a face of a person with wings around it, right? At least that's what I initially thought when I saw this. After taking a second and third look, it became apparent that this was a bird, and not just any bird at that, an owl. If you haven't seen any one of these critters in real life, you may doubt it. I know your inner thoughts a screaming human chicken, but that's a very large owl with its wings spread out. So no conspiracy here. Nothing to see, just an owl being defensive. Have you ever experienced a situation where someone claims that they saw you in a place at a time when you were in a very different place somewhere else? Recently, a woman shared a bizarre experience on YouTube. Take a look. She received a video from the police one morning that showed her crawling around a car strangely and inhumanely, almost as if she were possessed. The footage was from her neighbor's security camera. What makes this story creepier is that the woman in the video was her, but she's absolutely certain that she was at home sleeping at the time and has no recollection of being outside. Some people suggested that she could have been sleepwalking, while others mentioned the possibility of the woman being on Ambien, a medication known to cause strange behavior. However, the woman did not mention that she was on any medication. Another theory that people have suggested is that the woman in the clip could be a shapeshifter. Shapeshifters are creatures that can transform into different shapes or forms, and some people believe that they exist in our world. One commenter even suggested that either possessed people or shapeshifters don't need to eat you to look like you, like a skinwalker supposedly does. If this is to be believed, it means there's a being going around her city or township, shape-shifting into her and probably other individuals and doing weird stuff. It's definitely bizarre and hard to explain. What do you make of it, though? Here we have another object that was seen in the sky. It was an oddly shaped-looking craft, or whatever this is, that was rotating in one place in the sky. Could this be some type of new technology being tested out, a glimpse into the future of aerial innovation, or perhaps it's just a drone buzzing about in the skies above? While you think of answers to this, remember that this was captured in the sky from what appears to be the window of a plane. If this is real, it must have taken some effort to keep all passengers quiet. But don't let me make you think this might be a hoax. What are your thoughts? Next, we've got another trail cam footage that has left people with a lot of questions. This comes from a trail cam owner who recently retrieved his device from the woods and was greatly disturbed by what he found. Let's take a look at this eerie footage. In the video, we see a little girl emerging from the depths of the woods. She has shiny blonde hair and is wearing a long white robe. As she gets closer, she pauses, squatting for a moment while looking back. It's almost as though she's checking to see if someone or something is following her. Then she stands up and starts walking quickly, eventually disappearing from view. But here is where things get even more unsettling. Soon after the little girl is out of sight, another figure appears coming from the same direction. This being is also dressed in a white robe, but it looks more like a mature woman with long black hair. Unlike the girl, this figure is crawling on the ground, heading in the same direction the girl went. The footage is downright creepy. Who were these two figures? Why was the girl out there in the woods alone? And who or what was this crawling woman? Could the girl have been running from this terrifying figure? This drone footage shows something very bizarre. From an island, a beam of light shoots into the sky toward the mainland. The scene is surreal, almost like something out of a sci-fi movie. Alien enthusiasts believe that such lights are often associated with UFO sightings and extraterrestrial activity. They argue that the light could be a beacon or a portal, something beyond our current technological capabilities. On the other hand, some think it could be a part of a covert military experiment. Military bases and testing sites are often located in remote areas away from prying eyes. The beam could be related to advanced weaponry or a high-energy experiment. Governments around the world have long been suspected of hiding advanced technology from the public, and this footage could be evidence of such activities. What do you think? Some believe that aliens are already living among us, despite the government not giving us enough proof and mostly debunking all the claims. A couple recently shared some intriguing footage that has fueled this speculation further.
Aliens.
Look!
What?
In the video, a strange light appears in the night sky, significantly brighter and larger than any star. What's even more puzzling is how the light seems to glitch, flickering erratically. Moments later, another similar light materializes above it, and the first one vanishes almost as if they're playing a game of hide-and-seek in the sky. The couple who captured this footage is convinced that these lights are extraterrestrial. But what do you think? Could this be a mere weather phenomenon or something more mundane like a drone or a satellite? Or is it possible that they are indeed signs of alien presence, as the couple believes? Share your thoughts.
Is there something behind you? No.
Noise-cancelling headphones seem like the best thing to use when you're in a loud environment and just want to zone out and listen to music, right? Most people would pick them over regular headphones any day, but did you know they might not be good for you, and here's why. Our brain plays a huge role in how we handle sound. It naturally helps us filter out background noise so we can focus on what we actually want to hear, like a conversation, a song, or even silence. But when noise-canceling headphones step in and do all the work, that part of our brain doesn't get used the way it's supposed to. Over time, that section of the brain responsible for filtering out sound can become weaker or even dull because it's not practicing the skill it was built to. So now, when you find ourselves in a noisy place without noise-canceling headphones, our brains might struggle to process the sounds properly. We get overwhelmed. It's like the mental version of muscle loss from not working out. Now, does that mean you should never use them? Well, not necessarily, but maybe it's worth thinking about how often you rely on them and what your brain might be forgetting in the process. And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. I've been Steve. This has been Classified Captures. Share this with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.